Hello, good evening, and welcome. This is Australian Transformers Weekly. We are talking about Transformers news from around the world, and I'm trying to come up with a new line for this with Australian accents in Australia while covering. No, it's not any good. Anyway, this is episode 224. We are recording live for the second week in a row. Thank you very much for those of you counting on Friday, January 22nd, 2021. This week we will be talking about some new figures. Some of us have some new figures, Bradley, and Tony went to watch Transformers the movie, so we're going to hear about that. And there's a few new Kingdom figures coming, so we'll talk about that. All that and more is coming up after this. This is where the credits music goes in. Thank you for the people who are watching.
I just realised all the prep work we did before. Did we put out live notification alerts?
Yes. So it's gone live on. So it's a little bit of production note for those of you watching the live stream. So we now go live on both Facebook and on YouTube at the same time.
Oh, yo, very nice.
Ooh, so that's handy. And you know what? We could also do Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I wonder if we should register a Twitch channel. Anyway, the opening credits have finished in the meantime while we're talking about this, and they finished about 5 minutes ago. So we should leave an edit note for Brad and
content. You should be grateful.
And it's all free. So
hashtag content. Hashtag content. Have you guys been watching Cobra Kai?
No.
I stopped halfway through season 2.
Stick a hash brown on it and send it to the internet.
Okay. Is it that delicious?
Yeah. That's great. Anyway, thank you and welcome to the show. This is episode 224. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Bradley coming to us from Western Australia, where apparently the Kingdom supplies are plentiful.
Really? I should get out and try and find some. Hey, here's some.
It's like a bunch of toys have just appeared behind you somehow. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch behind me as well. So
here's some I prepared oilier.
You're like the David Copperfield of Transformers toys. Wow.
I'm not sure what to make of that actually. I don't know. Are you an illusionist? Are you fake? Are you fake? I'm not gonna give it the.
You're asking me that, and you see the color of my beard and the color of my hair.
Yeah, well, that's. To be honest, Bradley, they don't have that much colour left in them.
No, they don't. You can see the back.
You're gonna have to redo it. You look like Doc Brown from Back to the Future from the back.
I was actually going to say the Joker from The Dark Knight.
That's
actually not a bad.
But it's not green.
No, but it doesn't have to be. It's the aging Joker. You know, after he's caused havoc and mayhem in Gotham City. This is the retired Joker.
So after causing havoc and mayhem, the Joker settles down with a cup of SodaStream Diet Coke. SodaStream Pepsi Max.
Pepsi.
No, just regular Pepsi.
So how is, like, we do like to occasionally break from Transformers and talk about food news. So the release of Pepsi and Mountain Dew and all those related flavours for SodaStream is news in Australia. How are they? Do they taste good?
It's weird. You get like the syrupy second taste of Pepsi, but that's about it. Other than that, it's still just water with fizzy bits.
I'm going to put this down in the column under completely consistent with the normal SodaStream experience.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not very many good SodaStream flavors, unfortunately. Do you know what you can do instead, right? Is like you can just carbonate water and stick cordial in it, and it doesn't actually matter. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Anywho, Bradley's coming to us from the land of Kingdom figures and apparently SodaStream bottles. We also have Tony Kim joining us. Tony is still coming to us from New South Wales, I believe.
I am. Welcome back to the TCCA. It's 2 for 22. Marvellous effort, that.
And it still looks like he's watching us in this live shot.
Yeah. I regret to inform you that cricket jokes are banned after this week's dismal performance from the Australian cricket side.
Did you guys watch it at all?
I did not.
Oh, there we go. That's a no.
I'm not sure if that's a no or not, but yeah.
I shook my head as I was burping, so that is a no, technically.
Hey, Copperfield, how about you make that gas disappear? Jesus, wow. That was a big one.
Did.
We can actually smell it from this side of the country.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah.
there you go.
Burritos? Is that burritos? No. It smells like
No,
burritos.
just SodaStream.
Okay.
Comment from a nameless Facebook user who hasn't followed the instructions says the Donald J. Trump retirement home for the criminally insane, that's everyone in his administration, and news denial. That is fairly correct. We will hopefully not be denying any of tonight's news. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on this week. Now, I have been doing a whole big lot of nothing, and Bradley's been doing a whole big lot of Kingdom shopping. Now, Tony, you actually went and attended something very interesting last Sunday night, didn't you?
I did. I went to the Sydney screening of the Transformers animated movie 1986, and in Sydney at Cremorne at the Hayden Orpheum. And I've got to say, guys, I relived my childhood. Let's put it that way. It was such a magical experience, and it sounds.
Does this mean that you cried like a baby?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I
Along
was
with
worried
all the
about.
other 40-odd-year-old men who were walking out of the cinema, go, I can't believe Prime died. It was reliving my childhood trauma. I didn't realize I'd get to the point where I was old enough to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? To pay for someone to hurt me again.
Yeah.
Hey, man, people pay
Instead
good
of
money for that.
instead of
right.
just wanting your parents to pay for your tickets.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to
And
pay
the
for it
popcorn.
yourself this time. Yeah.
Correct. No, but it was great. To see it up on the big screen again, I've got obviously the different Blu-ray sort of versions and everything, and can watch it at home. But there's something about watching it with random strangers in such a. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been to that particular cinema, but it's so well decked out. It's beautiful. Like the seats and everything's clean, and they really put a lot of work into the decor. So
No, I've actually not been to the Orpheum.
you're missing
no.
out. Yeah.
So there's going to be a silly question, but whereabouts is Cremorne? I feel like it's
Oh.
lower North Shore.
It's Lower North Shore, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't go there very often.
Because you're near the airport or something, aren't you? You're around
I
that
am. I mean, so when it's not a pandemic, I do go to the North Shore for work. But I haven't been. No, I have been over the bridge since the pandemic struck, but only once or twice.
Yeah. Okay.
But even then, like Cremorne's away from the train line. So,
Yeah. It's a little bit further away, but the movie was amazing, and there's just so much stuff that you pick up, which I was saying in the to you guys before I never realized that there was more than one Cyclonus, which I am shocked and ashamed to have said as a Transformers collector and fan. But there are two Cyclonuses in one scene.
This is Tony's last show on the podcast.
Yeah, it was nice having you, Tony.
It was really nice to have me. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been great.
Tony, I'm just going to make a little production note, which is that your microphone levels are spiking all over the place.
Sorry.
Are you moving your head around near your microphone?
I am. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push it down and away from me. Is that a little better? Am I not spiking as much as I used to?
It just spiked up then.
Yeah, just spikes.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh well, we'll just have to deal with it. So
If you
I'm
had a
sorry,
cam, we could tell you.
Yeah, I still got to maintain the mystique though, Brad. So
Okay.
Sorry, is that better though or not? Is it? I'm still spiking.
it hasn't happened. It happens every like 30 seconds or so. But just try to keep your head still, I guess.
Yeah. Okay,
as exciting as it is talking about Transformers the movie.
I've just got this visual in my mind of like you guys thinking that I'm just waving my head around like a muppet as I'm talking
Pretty
into the
much.
microphone. Show me. Waka waka.
I'm thinking of Elmo, but yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, no, it was an amazing experience, and seeing it up on the big screen is awesome. For those film buff fans, it was the DEG version that they put up on the screen, and it had one S word from Spike as the moon base is getting destroyed. And there was at the end of the credits, there wasn't any kind of the Transformers. Oh no, Optimus Prime will return. There was none of that at the end.
I'm pretty sure all of that. So DEG would be the De Laurentiis
US.
Entertainment Group,
Correct.
which would mean it's just the US cut. So it's just as it went to US cinemas because it was in the UK that they added the the scroll
text
at the
scroll,
start. They would have
yeah.
edited the swearing out, and they would have also
Correct.
added the Optimus Prime will return.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And sorry, there was no scroll at the beginning. I should have added that. Yep.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
would have been that's the US version, the
Yeah.
original, some might say.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was a lot. It was great. There was a lot of guys who were sort of over 40 who brought their kids, and a couple of them had the Hot Rod Studio Series 86 toy. So that was great to kind of see the next generation coming through. But
No, that's great.
Yeah, amazing. Really, really a lot of fun.
So I heard the cinema was fairly packed as well. Obviously, like there's a pandemic and social distancing still applies, so it can't be full. But apparently, it was fairly full for what it was.
It was fairly full. I mean, if you think about like most people gravitate towards the center of the cinema, but so there was still like room at the edges of the seats, like on the outsides and the flanks. But yeah, and I think a lot of people really did well to observe the social distancing, like at least keeping a seat between people. So yeah, that was great. Really good experience. And it was funny when the opening credits came up and you saw the Transformers. Someone actually had a camera, and you could see just the flash go off. The Transformers.
I've actually seen the photograph that was taken when the Transformers was on the screen. So it was someone in our group. They took it and
it's
posted
so good.
it.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, it might have been any number of groups, but I'm pretty sure I know who someone took it and posted it. They're like, I can't believe I saw this on the big screen. It's like, if you're going to take a photograph of something on the big screen to say you've seen Transformers the movie, it may as well be the logo.
That's right, exactly. So it was good. I just feel really bad for the people in Melbourne, for example, who that screening got cancelled. I think a couple of weeks ago or something.
Yeah, it's not really entirely clear why, but so the oh goodness, I can't remember the name of the cinema in Melbourne.
The Melbourne Cinema.
Yeah, I can't remember either, actually. What was it?
The terrible thing is that I used to work on their website.
Oh god, did people ever find the website if you couldn't remember the name to it? The cinemamelbourne.com.au.
That Melbourne cinema. I bet you that works. That Melbourne cinema that plays all the old movies. Let's find out, right? Do I dare invoke the Google Assistant and ask it?
Ooh.
Yes, just don't do it on screen, because remember you've done that before during a live broadcast.
Yeah. Hey Google, what's the name of the cinema in Melbourne that plays all the old movies?
Is it Piccadilly? Because we got one on WA.
Astor Theatre.
It's the Astor. There you go.
VintageVictoria.net.au.
All right. Hey Google, stop.
Well done. Thank you, Google.
Very
Well,
well
excuse
done.
me, I was just giving you the information you asked for.
Sorry, something went wrong for lounge.
She's still talking back.
The
Fair enough.
lounge? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a Google Assistant device in the lounge as well. So it was the Astor Theatre, and the Astor Theatre screening got cancelled due to rights issues, and
What?
it's not entirely clear what the rights issues are, and you know, it's let's face it, rights issues are boring. So if you go back to the Astor Theatre and you're like, what exactly are the rights issues? They'll just be like, oh, the rights issues are when we can't blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I get that, but what happened? But they won't be able to tell you.
Because I thought the official explanation was it was COVID related.
No, the official explanation, according to Simon, it was officially because of rights issues. Because Simon was the one that contacted them, and they said, yeah, no, it's been canned. So yeah, a bit of a shame. We were wondering whether or not the Sydney one would be cancelled as well, but turns out it was not, and it went off without a hitch, which makes us wonder even more about the Melbourne one.
Yeah, we had the right issue. Thank you. I'm here all week. You don't really like that. When I said that joke, that you guys just kind of froze, and I couldn't tell whether it was the internet that froze or whether it was just the poor comedy.
It was
I'm gonna go
time.
with
It was time that stood still.
That's right.
As time stood still as you waited for your joke to land, and land it did. So
did,
don't worry. Both of us sniggered appreciatively, and then proceeded to tell you off.
Well, I found it funny, so I'm happy.
Indeed, fair enough too. Shall we get on with some news?
Yeah.
There's there's a little bit. So we spent a long time talking about Earthrise, the Netflix series last week. So long, in fact, that we skipped a lot of the news because we already ran to about 1 hour and 50 minutes. We won't be doing any such thing this week, but there is still some news to be seen. So without any further ado, I am going to bring in the news, which also currently has the name of Jason, but that's right, I can't do much about that. So first up the news, we have been tracking, and in fact, I say tracking, but like if I reach over here, this is very off the cuff. So one of the things that I do for TCCA is that I bring in overseas imports of figures for people who find that they can't get certain things overseas and can't get things in Australia. And this next news story is something that we thought we couldn't get in Australia, so I imported them for people.
Wow, nice.
So I do have a couple of sets of retro headmasters sitting here with me. The news is that according to Ozformers, retro headmasters are indeed coming to Australia. Sorry, I put that down there. Sorry, whoever's picking that one up from me. The retro headmasters are indeed coming to Target Australia, and they apparently will be coming from about April. So it's still going to be a while before you can get them. But yeah, it's interesting. So the first wave of the retro headmasters, as you can see in the Ozformers post here, it's Chrome Dome, Hardhead, Brainstorm, and Mindwipe. Now, these are not G1 headmasters. These are, in fact, the Titans Return molds. I believe they have a slight paint job or a slight color update, and they are using the Japanese Takara heads for these ones. So they're not actually the original Titans Return release. They're not the Takara release either. They're sort of a mishmash of things in between them. So yeah, the boxes have obviously been done up to evoke the style of the G1 boxes, even if they are not exactly the G1 boxes. So yeah, so we're hearing that I believe at least one of the waves will be at Target and in March, early March apparently, and the second one will be in Target in the second half of the year. The second wave has not actually come out overseas just yet, but it's close. Really confusing. The first wave has 4 figures, the second wave has 3. So if you buy things in boxes, you're going to get a duplicate, apparently of Hardhead. So yeah, you can try and sell Hardhead to someone, see what happens.
So what's interesting about that is that when you think about, if you look at that picture of the boxes, as a collector, I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes struggle about whether to keep the boxes. I would feel that if I bought this, knowing that it's not the original G1 and it's kind of more like the Titans Return mold, I would struggle with actually throwing the box out because I'd feel like I'd actually paid more for the box. You know, like there's more value ascribed to the box than normal.
And more to the nostalgia.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you're right. However, it also isn't the original box anyway.
Yeah.
So like
bastardized version. Yeah.
It's not the original box, but it is intended to be an item that's aimed at collectors. So, like my rule is generally that I will throw out, I will throw out retail boxes. Yep. These don't necessarily count as regular retail boxes, so like I probably wouldn't throw these ones out, but I'd probably equally just chuck them into storage.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting about the Ozformers announcement is that they're obviously referring to this stock going to Target, which in the mad flurry last year of the Studio Series 86 toys coming out at Kmart and then eventually Big W, Target was notably absent from all of that scrambling.
Do you know what's been notably absent from Target for the last 6 months? Transformers.
Stock.
Yeah.
I was going to say customers.
Well, that's what. So this is the other thing though. Like, Target's on its last legs, right? Like a bunch of Target stores are going to change to Kmart. So
yes.
if you buy the first wave from Target, there's no telling if the second wave will be at the same store later in the year because that store might no longer be Target.
Get
That's
the second
right.
wave at Kmart.
It's possible they'll end up doing that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the packaging. However, I sold all the Titans Return toys ages ago, and I do not need to buy them again.
Can I ask why you did that, Jace?
They didn't have a place in my collection. Most of them, if they represented figures, I preferred other representations of them.
Right.
So, Combiner Wars and Titans Return and Power of the Primes, the characters all have a particular look.
Yes.
And like there's particular ways in which the arms are styled. There's often hollow legs and things like that. And so, I preferred other representations of the characters. And the other thing is that I felt like Titans Return just overdid the Headmasters gimmick. So like these are at least the figures that were Headmasters in G1. But don't forget, like in Titans Return, every fucking figure was a Headmaster, and it was just a bit too much.
There were even spare heads.
That's right.
That was one of them.
Thank you very much, Sparehead One.
What about you, Spare Arm One?
I from that line, I think was Galvatron Titans Return, or was it something else? Yeah, okay.
Galvatron was one of the most disappointing figures in that entire
my God,
range.
yeah.
I've got him custom done, but I'm still looking forward for, even though there's no photos of him yet, I'm looking forward to this. Is it rumored or confirmed leader coming this year?
I
It's a
thought it was
rumor.
confirmed. Okay.
It's a rumor that only Wave 1 of Kingdom has been officially announced. So anything beyond that is a rumor. I will say, in defense of Titans Return Galvatron, I know. Don't all leap off your chairs and come to my aid. But in defense of Titans Return Galvatron, he did beget Super Megatron, which is a much better figure, and also like you probably can't. No, you definitely can't see him on the shelf because it's right behind my head. But if I move away and over that side, there is Open and Play Big Cannon. It is basically my masterpiece Galvatron. So he's a great figure. He's the large, oversized KO of Titans Return Galvatron, where they fixed all of the problems, and so his cannon sits properly on his arm. He is no longer a headmaster. He's got a proper head. And everything looks and feels and works really well.
He doesn't have a jet mode.
He probably does, but like you don't have to use it. So Titans Return was a spotty line, but I mean,
it was only good for the actual proper headmaster characters.
Yeah, if you were a fan of the Headmaster characters from G1, like you were very well served by Titans Return doing Headmasters and making every other character a Headmaster as well. But then that also led to like some really funny photos where like you can take Prime's Headmaster and stick him on other characters and stuff like that. So like the play value is fine, but I didn't really want my entire collection being Headmasters, so I got rid of a lot of them.
I will say, to close out on this Titans Return discussion, they did do a good job of the Season 2 mini-bots.
It's absolutely true. And no matter what, I feel like the Legends scale is a completely different line of figures, right? Yeah. You can have Combiner Wars, Titans Return, Power of the Primes, and like whether you like the general figures in there or not, you can't really argue with the fact that the Legends scale bots were really good.
Yes.
But they also aren't polluted by the gimmick. So, like, while the main line had Titans Return, Headmasters everywhere, the Legends are just the Legends. They're just like, hey, here's a small representation of...
No, they could incorporate a head, but they weren't. They were their own robots. They didn't have any accessories or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like criticism of the retail ones is generally the Legend scale bots are exempt from it.
Pretty much. I mean, we got from Power of the Primes, I remember we still got a really good Wheelie and Beach Coma.
Yes.
We did. Yes, we definitely did. I think Wheelie was actually in Titans Return. Not sure. It's only like 3 years ago, and I can't remember this shit, but that's okay. Let's
too much stuff to remember.
Yes. Let's move on to something else that we can't remember, which is that Studio Series 86, while we're pretty well served by having had some of the some of the world's first look at Studio Series 86. We did not get, not yet anyway, the Grimlock leader class figure that comes with a little non-transformable but fairly well articulated wheelie figure that can ride Grimlock. Now, there's any number of reasons why we didn't get this. Chief amongst the reasons seems to be that we were not meant to get Studio Series 86 when we did. However, we did, and apparently Hasbro breathed a sigh of relief that they did not actually release Grimlock while Big W was having trouble scanning Voyagers and letting people walk out for them for $29, because that would have been terrible for the leader class figure to go out the door for that much as well. Mm-hmm. So, now that the figures have been released in the US, Hasbro's going to bring them to Australia. We've seen this pattern. Kingdom has hit the US on January 1st, and now here we are, sort of a few weeks later. It's now making its way around Australian retail. So we do expect to see Studio Series 86 Grimlock start turning up in our stores in the coming weeks. And my dad is just opening the door to let my cat in. And talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Okay.
Well, I've got to say, I am a massive fan of this figure. This looks amazing. And I kind of think that, I don't mind having bought the Power of the Primes Grimlock, only to have it superseded by this one because it looks so good. So I'm happy to do it. But the only problem I have with this is that when you see it in robot mode, there's this really ugly dark brown chest plate on his robot mode that obscures.
Yes, there is.
The
let's scroll down. Let's scroll down.
Yeah, that's carrying over from the toy or animation.
I think it was the toy that had the original G1 toy that had that. But look at that. I mean, come on. The rest of the build looks amazing. He's a tank compared to Optimus Prime. Look at that.
You know what? This is actually the first leader class figure that we've actually gotten in a while that's genuinely a leader.
Yeah.
So for a long time, all the leaders in Siege and Earthrise, they've been Voyager class figures, which don't forget, that's the figure on the right is in Optimus Prime there. They've been a Voyager class figure with armor. So this is legit the first big Transformer that we've gotten in, sort of a bigger than Voyager scale.
Yeah,
he's a leader class scale, and he has an extra accessories.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look, he's a big chunky boy. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There's a shot of him in box, a blurry cam, and this is the most interesting photo to me. This is a comparison of Studio Series 86 Grimlock on the left and Masterpiece Grimlock on the right. Now, Masterpiece Grimlock, I remember it was a little bit controversial at the time because of the height of his shoulders, because that was not something that was actually part of the G1 character. And so Studio Series 86 has that right, and it's also got the looks like he's got. I'm not sure if that sword is actually from Studio Series 86 or if it's from the Masterpiece figure.
No, it doesn't come with the sword.
No, the Masterpiece figure, the accessories, some of them were transparent because he had a light up gimmick in his hand to make it look like the weapon was energized or something. So that's I'm pretty sure that's not from Masterpiece.
So you're saying it does come with the sword?
No, it doesn't come with the sword.
No, but it does come with a gun, but not with a sword.
Yeah.
Comment from a Facebook user says that Grimlock looks so good. It's correct. It's correct. So good. So good.
Suck
He
it.
does.
Oh my god.
He does look great. There's also a brief shot there of Grimlock and Megatron. Now, Megatron's a Voyager in Studio Series 86. So Grimlock's in Kingdom, isn't he? He's not a leader.
No, he's leader.
No, he is a leader. So he's even bigger than the leader. So yeah.
As well, he should be.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
Yeah. Now I saw a video review. Kremzik did a great sort of review of this figure. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but one of the things that one of the things he did was do a side by side with the Power of the Primes Grimlock, but he had an oversized version. So it wasn't a proper comparison, to be fair. But this one, hands down, completely won me over. The one thing that's interesting, I've seen some photos as well of people. I was talking about that little brown thing across his chest. That you can sort of half transform him, and there's screws on the other side of the chest that you can unscrew to take the brown plate off. So that's going to get me through and justify the paying the amount, because that was the only problem I've got with this.
I mean, can't you just stick an Autobot symbol over it?
I think it's
Yeah,
got an
but it's-
Autobot symbol under it.
Under it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I know, but you were complaining that it obscures the Autobot symbol, so can't you just stick one on it?
No, not just that though, but it just looks weird. Don't you think it looks weird? Just it's got this black thing across his
It looks
chest.
like Grimlock.
I do admit it does actually seem like a big black piece sitting in the middle of what I remember to be Grimlock's cartoon form.
Correct. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for the cartoon version, not the G1 toy version.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just looking forward to getting rid of my Power of the Primes Grimlock, and hopefully, if the rumors are true, we'll be getting more Dinobots in the Studio Series 86 line.
I hear a rumor that there might be a Slag coming in Wave 2.
With a
rumor
Daniel?
that he will be a leader class as well.
Yeah, we hear the same rumors. How funny. Yeah. So and yes, I also heard that as well, that he'll come with Daniel. I don't know why Slag comes with Daniel, but whatever.
Should be Sludge. Oh no, that's Spike.
Yeah, no, none of that packing stuff makes any sense. Anyway, so as far as this figure goes, we should be expecting it. So retailers have taken pre-orders for 86 Grimlock in Australia. He didn't hit he didn't hit retail at the same time as our early release, but he should be coming around with proper release in the next few weeks.
Yeah, he's certainly out in America at the moment. One of my mates is over there at the moment. Managed to pick one up from Walmart, and is sort of gloating. The other thing he noted, by the way, is that it comes with Wheelie, of course, but Wheelie is apparently not posable. So it's just like a little action figure that kind of you can't even bend the knees.
Oh, I thought Wheelie was posable. So like,
No,
maybe
you can move
he's
his arms
not.
and rotate his head, but you can't you can't stand him up by himself.
Correct.
Oh dear.
And there's a little.
That's really disappointing.
Oh, fuck off.
Now listen.
I've seen
You should go on mute, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I've seen video reviews of this Grimlock, and they've said if you've got Titans Returns Wheelie, then you're good for Wheelie.
That's probably right, I think.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that when I recycle the box, I should just leave Wheelie in it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so he's constantly squatting in that pose. If you take him off the back of Grimlock's neck, he's constantly squatting.
It feels like you could do something with that. Something photographic.
Toilet.
Yeah, you could do something photographically incriminating with that.
Something scatological, you're thinking there, Jace?
Yes. I'm thinking like the trouble is that I don't think I do. I don't have a real life rendition of the poo emoji. Except, do you know what? I think I do, because I think I've got one as a pen topper. So yeah, don't ask. Morning Glory is an amazing shop, and they sell all sorts of pens. Is all I'm going to say.
I thought you were going to talk about like a giant sort of emoji poo type cushion, and way out of proportion with Wheelie.
Yeah, it's like you have to like put the cushion on the couch in the background and bring Wheelie close to the camera.
Yeah.
You
Either
just
that
make it look
or
like he's done a really big dropping.
Yeah,
Trying to blame
really
it on
big dropping.
Grimlock.
Wheelie has a lot of fiber. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
True. All right, let's move on from the poo talk with Wheelie, and let's look forward to Studio Series 86 Grimlock. But let's talk about some other news, some upcoming figures, which I've also just realised that this really should be full screen, but it's not. So there we go. It's now full screen. And no, people have been looking at my bookmarks the whole time. It's like, what does Jason have a bookmark for overseas Transformers orders for, and what's the Ingress bookmark, and what's the BitTorrent bookmark for?
These questions and more in the next episode of TCCA.
Yeah, no, it's not likely. Let's go to the news story though. The next story though, which is a Kingdom figure. A prototype has been shown off for Kingdom Dinobot, shown off by Takara Tomy, and So look, I'm not familiar with Beast Wars figures. However, I
know.
do.
I've been trying to change that for years.
You know how you don't read the run sheet.
Yeah.
I also don't watch Beast Wars.
Well, one day when the quarantine's lifted, I'll come over to you. I'll read the friggin' run sheet while you're watching all 3 series of Beast Wars, and then we can talk about you watching Beast Machines afterwards.
Ooh, that was not part of the deal. I said Beast Wars, and I don't want to watch Beast Machines. So I'm sure I've mentioned this before. But when I went to TF Nation in 2019, they had Marty Eisenberg there, and he was not sure if he was the showrunner or something on Beast Machines. Not sure, but he also did Transformers Animated, of course, for which we love him. But he also did Beast Machines, and they introduced him, and they're like, Marty Eisenberg, Transformers Animated, yeah, and so blah blah blah, yeah, and the showrunner of Beast Machines.
Yeah.
There was dead silence in the room, and he's grabbed the mic and he's gone, we know everyone would have preferred 2 more seasons of Beast Wars. So anyway, unfamiliar as I am with the character, I do have the Masterpiece figure for Dinobot, and so I am at least partly familiar with his proportions, his look, and his accessories. So like, I see the tail, I see the pink staff, I see the beast mode head, which is actually genuine on this figure, and it was not on the Masterpiece. And like, he looks like Dinobot to me. How about you guys?
I think he's missing some. Well, like, this is a prototype, isn't it? Because I think it's missing a couple of paint-ats by the looks of it. But this does still look amazing.
I bet you it goes out to market like this.
Probably, but it's better than what have I got at the moment on my shelf? I think I got 10K Dinobot.
Just go back to that though. Like, where do you think it's missing the paint apps?
The sword should be silver, and I think the bone things on his legs, I don't know if they're painted or not. Like the sides of his legs, he's got 4 ridges. I can't see if they're white or not.
I would not expect there to be paint applied to the legs in the way that they've come through. Like, a lot of the other figure seems to be painted, so yeah, I'd say that's probably done, but you could be right.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Beast Wars myself. I'm sorry, Bradley. 2 out of 3 ain't bad though, right? On this call. But I got to say that I do admire this figure, because I can tell there's a fair bit of engineering that would go into transforming it into its alt mode. So, I really do. As a collector, I value the engineering that goes into these things. And this looks quite interesting. Although, is that tail on his left hand, that looks like that's kind of stuck there, is it? Or is it? Do you think he's holding it?
So that's meant to open up into a weapon as well.
Right. Okay.
What does it open up into, Bradley?
It's no one actually knows. It's like a spinning sort of shield, but it just spins.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So it does do something. I would say that, really interestingly, if you look at his right hand, you see the way that he's holding the weapon is actually really interesting, because that's not a 5mm. That's not a 5mm gap in the hand. Like, that's actually hooked onto claws.
Yeah.
And so my suspicion would be that there's a similar arrangement on his left hand for holding that other weapon as well. That is an interesting detail. So as far as the engineering of these guys, like, I think it's amazing that so much of these characters, their design and stuff speaks to the transformation that they need to do, because you can see parts of them in their hands and in their feet and obviously in the chest, and so like that sort of prescribes how the figure is meant to transform. So they're not designing this from scratch. Like, they're trying to meet a template. They're trying to meet a template, and like, people know what Dinobot looks like. So like, if you suddenly removed his beast head from his chest and like put it on his back, it would be weird. People wouldn't go for it. So they really are sort of, they really are doing modern reimaginings of these figures.
Yeah, and Brad, how does this compare to the original toy? Is it sort of, I mean, obviously, I would imagine it's an improvement just given the modern day sort of thing. But are there other things you can see here that look better than what was on the original?
This legit looks like a screen grab from the show, whereas the original toy is just, I think it's about, it's probably like a deluxe size at best.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Beast Wars scaling is just horrendous. Plus, for some reason, in the original toy line, all the characters had mutant masks. So Dinobot's head is sort of like encased between these two large, what look like shoulder pads.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah, this just looks totally amazing, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing how the transformation is realized.
Well, since you asked, there you go. Oh, there's a rear shot of him.
Nice.
What an angle!
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah,
You can see there. He's So it looks like they're keeping one thing traditional. The beast mode feet end up being his robot hands.
That seems to be the case with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have a picture of his front by any chance?
They do not.
Yeah.
He's a dentist, so they can't show you his face on television.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah.
He does recommend Colgate though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, isn't it Oral-B?
Oral-B, sorry, Oral-B.
Yeah, Oral-B, yeah.
It's a Dinobot recommends Oral-B. Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Kingdom Dinobot prototype seems to be getting thumbs up. I like it. It's a good looking figure. I'm not going to buy it, but I definitely think that it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not a fan, but I like it.
Starting to feel like the only Beast Wars person on this entire podcast team, even the ones that aren't here at the moment.
You're the Beastie Boy.
No, that's the Canadian name.
They were Beasties.
Yeah.
Beasties, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another prototype, which is Huffer.
Yes.
So you mentioned Kremzeek reviews earlier. So Kremzeek's got his hands on a deluxe Kingdom Huffer, who looks just a fantastic upscale of not an upscale, but a fantastic sort of redo and update to his G1 look. He's a dinky little truck, and it is known that he can in fact. Someone says, so a Facebook user says the flip top head was Reach, not Oral-B. Thank you for commenting on the dental joke, the dental hygiene joke. However, I will just say that we didn't actually go for the flip top head. But
We went
yes,
to rob the dentist.
yeah. So back to Transformers. We now return you to the Transformers. So yeah, we are looking at deluxe scale Huffer. And frankly, when you see him in robot mode like that, I reckon he looks amazing, and I can't wait to get him.
He's so good. There is a, if I'm going to nitpick, and it's only a very small thing, but if there's a photo of the back of him, his legs from the back are very hollow.
That's pretty true of most figures. Let me see if I can find that.
This one goes over and above, I feel. I don't think you have it there. Oh, maybe you do.
No, I don't think. So what I'm looking at is the TFW screen caps of Kremzeek's review, and I don't think they've got that. There is a nice size comparison though, which is taking a bit of time. So he is a small deluxe, which is kind of consistent with like what you sort of expect from let's say Cliff Jumper and the like. So like with his hood over his head, he sort of gets up to Wheeljack's height, but he is a small figure. Which makes it even more interesting, actually, that when he's in truck mode, he's fairly comparable to Optimus Prime's Cap. Oh, maybe he looks about proportionally small. However, it is also worth noting he can tow Optimus Prime's trailer, and he probably looks better doing it. He looks like he's more in scale doing it. However, there we go.
That's great.
So. Yeah, so it looks better on him than it does on Prime.
Yes, nice callback to that G1 episode.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that
one
one time.
that one time. Yes.
The one time.
Unless you did it in the comics, I don't know. Probably not.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, so Kingdom Huffer, I think he's looking pretty good. Look, as I've said, I'm not really that into Beast Wars, so for me, Kingdom is sort of about the G1 characters that it reimagines, and
Yeah, same with me.
I'm definitely there for this Huffer.
Are there any photos of how Huffer scales next to the other mini-bots like Bumblebee, Netflix Bumblebee, or Cliff Jumper?
There's one there next to the other scale shot that you took.
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
that's right. There's a Bumblebee there.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
so-
that's interesting.
So he's a head taller than Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper. So yeah, but he's still on the small side.
yeah.
Remembering also that on the left of the shot there, like Ironhide is definitely a large deluxe.
Yes.
Was he a deluxe? I thought that more was a Voyager.
Ironhide is a deluxe.
Okay.
So yeah, actually, it's kind of surprising to me how small B is there, but yeah.
Yeah, how small B is or how tall Huffer is.
Why can't we have both?
Because if you're gonna get like if people are sort of focused on the scale, I think this is probably the one negative that might put people off a little bit. I think.
Yeah.
Just that he looks way taller than Bumblebee, and so if you were lining him up with the other mini-bots from season 1, like I would, that the Huffer would stick out like a sore thumb, I think.
I got a we have one comment from someone watching the live stream on Facebook. I'm going to mangle his name. It's Glenn Mistel. Mistel. No, I've destroyed that. I'm sorry, Glenn. Comment from Glenn says, I was never into Beast Wars either. I was always G1, but these new figures got me buying them. So there you go.
Watch the show if you haven't, please. I want someone out there to watch the show because I recommended it.
It's the what is it? It's the 30th anniversary this year. Is it 30? 30 or 25?
96,
25.
I think, for Beast Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 25th anniversary this year. Yeah. So there you go. So there's Kingdom Huffer, and we're going to close out the Kingdom news tonight with one last look at another figure that is also unreleased, but also generated a bit more of a. So I will just say to the person who is commenting and says, "Can I drop a bombshell, Jason? Just a little one about Beast Wars." I'm just going to say you may not, because we cannot see who you are. So if you could please follow the instructions on the thing that says go to streamyard.com/Facebook and connect it up so that we can see your name, then you definitely can drop a bombshell. In the meantime, we are going to go to. No, we're not going to go to that one. We're going to go to Deep Cover. So, Deep Cover is the much anticipated repaint of Siege Sideswipe. How many repaints of Sideswipe do we have? We've got Sideswipe. We've got the G2 Sideswipe. We've got Red Alerts. We've got Tiger Track, and So Deep Cover is an anticipated and expected repaint because we know that Hasbro has been mining the Generation Selects. I think Hasbro's been mining the history of Transformers for Gen Select, so they'll often bring up things like Diaclone paint jobs or obscure Japanese only, or even unreleased paint jobs. In the case of the Voyager Sandstorm, which I'm just looking to see if I have one that's out of his box, but I do not. So knowing that there'll be more Gen Selects for next year, Deep Cover was expected, hoped for, and apparently got. So it's not entirely clear how this figure is leaked out. It's not followed the usual pattern of leaks. It's turned up for sale at a toy store in Las Vegas that I've been to, called Rogue Toys. Rogue Toys is pretty cool if you like. Toy stores and things in America. There are so many old Transformers to go around. If you just look at these stores, and so yeah, I've been to Rogue Toys. Their Transformers selection is amazing. So it was very interesting to see that they got this guy in, and they got him in like this. And not only that, they sold him for what was apparently just a fairly regular retail price. he's also, he came in a standard Gen Select box, but his inner packaging is very different. It's a brown insert. It looks like it's been knocked around quite a lot, and he's just tied onto that like a Kingdom figure. Now, there is a bit of thought that is saying that Gen Selects this year are probably going to get rid of the plastic insert tray, which is fantastic news if they do, because despite the fact that Hasbro said a couple of years ago that they're not committing Transformers to it, we've definitely seen Hasbro make a lot of strides towards reducing the use of plastic on Transformers packaging. Most Kingdom toys only just have the smallest of plastic windows on it, and that's almost it. So it's good to see Gen Selects going a little bit greener. I don't like throwing out the Gen Selects boxes because the boxes are fantastic. They're really, really strong and sturdy boxes. However, we are here to talk about deep cover. Now, someone purchased deep cover from Rogue Toys and has probably taken lots of photos. Now, he being a Siege Sideswipe repaint, he can pull off all the awesome poses that Sideswipe can pull off. As you sort of see here, he's got the ankle tilts. He's very, very well balanced, and there's lots of really nice detail. He's got this fantastic blue, black, and white, and with red accents color scheme to him, and and as someone again, we can't see your name, so please follow the instructions in the post. First deep cover since the original. I think deep cover is usually overlooked in favor of Clampdown. We haven't had a Clampdown for a little while. Actually, I think the last time we got Clampdown was actually a Masterpiece. Morgan Maroney also says that is a nice paint scheme for sure, which I agree. It really is. There's plenty of other.
I'm just looking at that picture, that robot mode picture, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the really obvious promotional game Pepsi Man from the original PlayStation, but he had a theme song that was just Pepsi Man. And looking at those knee pads and that color scheme, I'm just hearing Pepsi Man. I
see why. However, I'm just going to call attention to the fact that it's the second call out for Pepsi, and I think you're being paid.
No.
Is it even better than the real thing, though, Bradley?
Oh dear.
Cheaper.
So if you put deep cover and Sideswipe side by side, which one of them will survive the Pepsi challenge?
I was going to say, would this toy be the choice of a new generation's?
But it will be the select of them.
Yeah.
Because the box isn't there, but you can see the box there with the insert in it.
That looks so good though. Look at that.
So the really interesting thing about that is that this is the Cybertronian car alt mode, but like it totally works. It totally works as what would really be an Earth mode alt car.
I love little badges on the doors and on the front of the hood. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's not a very good deep cover, unless it's the Decepticon.
He is not.
Okay.
However, just the rear shot just looks fantastic. So that is Generation Select's deep cover. He's not been announced yet, so we don't really know. We don't really know when he's coming, but suffice to say, there's a lot of people who are very interested in acquiring this figure. He's a great mold. I like the Siege Sideswipe mold is one of my favorites in the last few years. It's really easy to transform. It's really easy to pick up and play with, and yeah.
Well, that Siege Sideswipe mold is the one that got me back into collecting. Just the simplicity, the design, and didn't they also use that mold for the Gigawatt Back to the Future toy?
Gigawatt is definitely a Sideswipe repaint. He's retooled a little bit around the front, but definitely a Gigawatt.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But, yeah.
Really money for old
here,
for
but it's in
Hasbro.
robot mode.
So that is, so we, as I mentioned, came up at Rogue Toys, which is really surprising. Usually these things come out from weird sales in somewhere around Asia and end up leaked into the likes of people like TomTom.
Teo Bayo. Oh yeah, TomTom.
Yeah.
Taobao. Yeah.
Taobao. That's the one. Yeah.
Let's move on. There's a couple more stories. Buzzworthy Bumblebee. Now, I don't think we've actually talked about the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. This sort of jumped out jumped out at us from nowhere. There is a Bumblebee and Spike Witwicky, although you can. So this is a core class figure. However, he's core plus an accessory in that he's got Spike as well. Now, I gotta say, I find it really weird that they went to the trouble of painting Spike's head on the packaging, and also it looks like Daniel, not Spike. But yeah, they went to the trouble of painting Spike's head on the packaging, and on the toy itself, the mask place is just silver.
I think this is just repaint of line ad. Yeah, that came with Titans Returns RC. Same mold at least with the.
So that one was a headmaster.
Yeah, but this still folds in half, like, and turns into the car sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder how would they have actually put. How would they have actually put Spike's face on it, though, right? Like, I can see logistically, you'd either have to paint his face on the outside.
Just do a little
of
Lego Man smile.
That's right. Or you'd have to have like a plastic sort of cover over the top with a molded head underneath, which I imagine would have cost a little more to produce.
And repro labels.
There you go.
I just don't know why you would put yourself in the position of having to, like, obviously just not do the face. Just don't do the figure.
Yeah.
Like at some point, just go, maybe we can't actually do this figure justice.
Yes.
Well,
but also
the
the Bumblebee figure. I mean, come on, guys! Like, look at this thing. It's not even Titans Return type, levels of quality. Was it Titans Return or Power of the Primes? I can't remember. But the one that had the old version of Bumblebee before the Netflix Bumblebee came out. But this looks so basic. It doesn't even look like a V-dub. I mean, it's like there's not even trying. They got the head right. I think the head looks good.
Well, so on the head, we've got a comment on screen from Morgan Maroney saying it looks like the evergreen Bumblebee head, and that's true if you look at the packaging. Like the Bumblebee down on the front of the box next to the Buzzworthy Bumblebee moniker definitely looks like evergreen Bumblebee. Does not look a thing like the Bumblebee that is seen just slightly up on the box. So, like, you get 3 Bumblebee heads for one glance on this.
Yeah, Spike doesn't even have a head.
Yeah,
Bumblebee has 3.
You get three Bs for one glance, and none of them look the same as each other. They all look different. Like, this Bumblebee looks more like the deluxe, because he's got the window at the top of his chest. The head between the paint, the background and the foreground does look somewhat consistent, but the head down at the bottom doesn't look consistent at all. Spike's a bit of a mess. Bumblebee's a mess. He's a tiny bee, and he doesn't really convert into what would be called a V-dub alt mode either. He's just sort of like a weirdly sort of extra deformed car, more so than in G1.
I have heard that this is actually an homage to a G1 character, not Bumblebee, obviously, but Bumper.
I've heard that as well. But at the same time, maybe do that under a different name.
Yeah, because like I said before we started recording, I'm legit considering this figure as a Bumper, but at the same time, they'll probably just re-release this as Bumper.
Gen Selects.
Yeah.
I got to say, it's the first time.
I don't know who the Spike. I don't know who the Spike would be repainted as if it was the Gen Selects.
Daniel.
Yeah. Well,
All you have to. No, totally. Like, all you have to do is just change the highlight color.
Change the name.
Make it pink.
You change the blue to pink, and you've got Carly. Change the blue to a light blue, and you've got Daniel. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
But there's so much weird about
this. We just made Hasbro money.
That's right. Thank you, Hasbro. But the thing is, like, there's so much other weird stuff as well about this. So, like, the first thing is, like, you see I don't think I've ever seen a transformation on the back that's ever had just one move, right? If you look at the Spike, there's one.
The move is that you knock him over.
That's right. Just give him a bit of a flick, and then there's your transformation. But then on the front of the package, if you go back to that other picture, it's like, instead of knowing that this is completely unnecessary, apart from the fact that all the pictures look all weird each other, the buzzworthy word. It's almost like someone in the marketing department had said, look, this is a piece of shit. We know this. we got to sell this. So let's come up with some cool name. And everyone will make it like nice and sexy. Buzzworthy, right, sold, stamp it, let's go. You know what I mean? It just sounds really dumb.
Yeah. So the weird thing is, though, that this is the figure name is not Buzzworthy Bumblebee.
No.
Buzzworthy Bumblebee is the name of a subline.
Yeah.
And the subline bridges across multiple toy lines. So you'll notice up the top left of the box there is a Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy brand. It's not Siege, it's not Earthrise, and it's not Kingdom. So this guy sits somewhere outside all of that, which is an interesting place that was also occupied by the
You may say it's
Pit of
buzzworthy.
Judgment. No, I probably won't. But so this is a part of sort of the weird lines that don't belong to the trilogy but do belong to the overall trilogy, which see also Power of the Primes, Punch, Counterpunch, Blast Off, and who was the other one that was released under a literal Power of the Primes brand? I can't remember. But yeah, so it's like there's a few characters that just don't fit in the regular lines, and so they're just like, just release it and we'll just stick War for Cybertron on it. And the reason I say it is a line that crosses.
Oh, I think we
Oh,
lost
we've lost
Jason.
Jace. Oh, that must be Hasbro pulling the plug on him.
Maybe. He did lag out like a little bit a minute ago.
He did.
But what was he talking about? He's talking about Buzzworthy Bumblebee. Let's see if we can't really. Well, I mean, we can keep the conversation going, but we can't keep Facebook. I mean, we are still live.
We
but
are.
We can't see Facebook comments because Jason's the one in charge of those.
Yeah.
So, Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, actually. How are you, Bradley?
I'm doing really well too. Are you excited or completely mystified about the fact of Buzzworthy Bumblebee?
Welcome back,
Hello.
Jace.
Here he is.
Very weird. Something just happened and crashed in my browser. Sorry about that. I'll just make a note to.
We thought Hasbro must have sent Storm Shadow or someone to sort of pull the internet a plug on your place.
Hasbro ninja'd my internet connection or something. But yeah.
But sorry, you were saying about Titan's Return.
Was I saying it, or was Bradley saying?
You were talking about Buzzworthy, but you were using Titan's Return to make a point.
Oh no, I was using Power of the Primes.
Sorry, Power of the Primes.
But yeah, so I'm going to use this as a segue to the next story. So Buzzworthy Bumblebee is not just a part of War for Cybertron; it's also a part of Studio Series. But come on, everyone be happy. So Buzzworthy Bumblebee has been retroactively applied to Studio Series as they reissue older Bumblebee-related characters. So you can see.
Should we be seeing something?
Yes, you should. Except I didn't put the screen sharing, did I? There we go. So the Buzzworthy Bumblebee his imprint is now also on Studio Series. So you can see it's sort of a bright yellow and black redo of the Studio Series Transformers boxes. And they are simply reissuing the same old characters that have gone before. However, this one looks like it's got an extra pack in. So this one has...
Looks like, remember the old... I think it's still around, the old cheap black and gold brand stuff?
Yes.
That's what this coloring looks like.
So this Bumblebee does, however, look like it's got a packed in Charlie. I think that's new. I don't think Studio Series 15. I think Studio Series 15 predated the Bumblebee movie. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, so they're reissuing Studio Series 15. It looks like there's a new packed in Charlie. There's a few more as well. So it looks to me like they are reissuing Bumblebee and characters that were in the Bumblebee movie. So yes, we've got the World War II Bumblebee, which was extremely poorly received first time around. They're going to repack it with Buzzworthy Bumblebee on the front and see if it makes it look good, see if it makes it sell better.
Got a bit of old stock lying around. Need to clear out the shelves at Hasbro.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the first one that's not Bumblebee. So Studio Series 40 Shatter is getting a reissue because she was in the Bumblebee movie. And so there's a reissue of Shatter coming. And Studio Series 74. That one sounds new. That's a new Bumblebee as well. And this one looks like he's got his. I'm going to say it's new, but it might not be. This one's got his battle mask and other things going on as well.
Is that the Camaro concept by the looks of the chest?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe. I don't know cars, which is ironic for a Transformers fan, but yeah.
Not really. I don't know cars either. I just know the cars.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's it. That's Buzzworthy Bumblebee. That's it for that's it for figures that have been announced. That's it for news.
So where do they? Before you finish off on that, I'm just sort of wondering about this Buzzworthy Bumblebee. I can't get off this topic, but where do they draw the line? Like, what is the next subline? Do you have like optimistic Optimus, or homicidal Hot Rod, or something? Like, where do you draw the line?
Slutty Soundwave for the adult version. That's the kids players.
Mega sad Megatron.
That's right. Oh,
Serendipitous Starscream.
I think it's more likely to be seditious Starscream.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Psychotic Cyclonus. Sorry, that's the last one from me.
Fair enough. Look, the Buzzworthy moniker doesn't make much sense to me, and
No.
to be perfectly honest, I don't think the Studio Series reissues are going to sell that well under that name. But it is what it is. Let's move on a little and talk about some new acquisitions. Since we're over an hour. We did say that we weren't going to be as long, but we'll talk about some new acquisitions quickly. Bradley, do you want to talk about your Kingdom Come?
There's mine.
All right.
Quick enough?
Yep, done. Tony, how about yourself? If I put Tony full screen, it doesn't really do that much.
Put it back on Bradley, but I'll talk over the top of Bradley's picture. How about that?
No, that annoys Bradley.
Or even more reason to do it.
Bradley, do you want to speak in more detail about your Kingdom acquisitions?
Okie dokie. Well, I've gotten a few Kingdom acquisitions yesterday. There was a post on one of the local Transformers boards that Kingdom was at a particular toy store, which was just down the road. I went not very fast, but I went there.
You ambulated quickly.
Yes, and I got, for those of you that are listening and can't see, I've got Warpath, Cheetor, Optimus Primal, Black Arachnia, Beast Mode Megatron, and Cyclonus. So far, I've only opened up Cyclonus. I am very grateful for this toy because he is completely amazing, much better than the Universe from like 2008, and definitely much far superior to the Combiner Wars Cyclonus we got, what was that, 6-7 years ago. Just a wonderful toy. Glad to have him. Nice that he comes with a Cyclonus-y looking rifle, and he does go with the Target Master that came with Universe Cyclonus. So if you got that, then you got a double Cyclonus, regular and Target Master.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for the people listening, Bradley's holding up Cyclonus to the camera, but you can actually see the light piping in his eyes coming through, and it looks fantastic. It looks really good.
I've really missed light piping in more recent releases, and I'm really glad to see it make a return. I hope it makes a more permanent return. Like, the Transformers line is in a bit of a state of flux after this year as to what's going to happen.
What about that angle?
Yeah, that's better. It looks like he's just like channeling you.
Yeah. Jason, watch Beast Wars.
So the Transformers line is in a little bit of a state of flux after this year. What is going to actually happen, and what features are we going to see carry forward into the next range? Like, obviously, I would expect things like ankle tilts have become the norm. Hopefully, some more articulated hands will become the norm. And really, I hope that there's a return to light piping, because I think the light piping is really cool. Sometimes it makes the back of characters' heads a little bit compromised, but I think most people don't display their characters' heads from the back, so it's fine.
That's the back of Cyclonus's head, and I mean, for the effect that you get at the front, for the sort of minimal interruption at the back.
I'm actually really surprised that no one's made light piping mods to sort of install LEDs inside the light piping area or something. I feel like that could be a growth area for some third parties. We'll see.
Well,
That's a great
like
idea.
you were saying, light piping's long gone. I mean, it was an impossibility with like Titans Returns and stuff, so it is good to see it making a comeback.
Yeah, I remember first noticing it on the Siege Starscream, and then on the on Skywarp and Thundercracker, and I think also on Soundwave they might have had light piping in his head as well.
Yeah, they definitely got it on him. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Good to
fantastic.
see it back.
So that's me done. I'm not sure which one I'm going to be opening next, but I take my time when I open up new
round it
toys.
goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
Do you
Probably
keep your
Beast
boxes?
Mode, Brett. No.
You don't keep it. Okay.
Like Jason, I get rid of retail boxes, but I do keep like Generation Selects and
So I keep Generation Select boxes, but I don't keep them for like resale or anything. I put other things in them.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they make good storage for things you don't want to just put into a plastic tub.
Do you know what the best thing about a Generation Select Deluxe box? You
What's
can put a retail deluxe box inside the Gen Select box and post it to someone.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
And very environmentally friendly.
yeah, definitely good
Oh,
reuse
yeah.
there.
Another weird thing that is with the Kingdom line is you always get a character card, but they are random. So with Cyclonus, I got Black Arachnia.
So there's 4 in the first wave.
Yeah, so I got Black Arachnia, and then if you peel off the sticker, the underside is also Black Arachnia.
Hang on a sec, just keep that up there for a minute. There we go. Yeah, but it's a different view of it. So while
Yeah.
there's 4 cards, you could peel off the thing, and so you can make 8 cards out of the 4, right? And also, like, I think it's also worth noting that, like, the character cards and things like that are something that we haven't actually seen. We haven't seen for a while. Like, the last time we saw character cards was in Power of the Primes.
Well, one thing I think is weird, and I don't know if you guys know anything about this, is the fact that these are stickers, but there's no like album or anything to put the stickers in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I
weird.
was gonna say is that, like, I feel like we had character cards all the way through Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and Power of the Primes, but they got cheaper and cheaper. And like they initially had some lamination on them, and then they were sort of just straight up. I don't know what that is. But yeah.
No, that's just me. I'm still there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, so they got cheaper and cheaper. Like, they started with a nice neat thing with like edge cut corners. Then they just sort of went to just a more straight up card, and then they went to just an even rougher card on really high GSM cardboard, and then they were just like, it's gone with Siege, and then with Earthrise they put the tech spec decoder in every single box. But now I think it's nice to see a return to the. I think it's nice to see a return to the character card, and also with the extra effort on it. Like, those character cards seriously do look nice. They're really well designed. They've got shiny bits on them. They've got reflective parts on them, and the fact that they're stickers as well. They are way more than just a standard piece of cardboard.
Yeah, and the artwork, I've got to say, on these is amazing. The card that I got with my Cyclonus, guys, was of the Ark crash landing.
Oh.
And when you pull the sticker back, it's actually a picture of the crash landed Ark, and half of it's kind of orange, the normal color, and then the other half is kind of like darkish black, and it's got this sort of nice little 1984 underneath it as a sort of a caption. It looks beautiful.
Nice.
So yeah, the artwork is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to see them put some effort into that. Just it's the last hurrah for the trilogy. So yeah. Let's move on. Tony, have you got some new acquisitions?
I do. So speaking of Titans Return, which seems to be an underlying theme of this particular podcast, which is really good. I got the Titans Return Autobot Cosmos, which
nice.
Yeah, just hold him up to the camera for us.
Yeah, is that in focus? Can you
Yes,
see that?
yeah,
yeah,
no,
excellent.
that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I always worry about the camera not being in focus, so that's good. But he's got 9 transformation steps, very easy looking transformation, and also to the point we just literally just making a second ago around cards. He's got a very nice GSM card, Titan's Return, really good sort of battle artwork for Cosmos. So very simple transformer, but definitely one to sort of fill out the collection. He's actually one of the mini bots that I'm going to start on season 2 now. After last week's podcast where we were talking about my original sort of plan about getting just the season 1 cast, I started to get a bit hungry, and so now I'm working on season 2 for my
That
sins.
took a week.
I know. I know.
Yeah, season 1 is
horrible.
a gateway season.
It leads to the harder stuff like season 3.
Yeah. Very true.
But yeah, so I'm going to start on getting the rest of those guys. So the other acquisition I got this week was the Siege Ultra Magnus, which is one that I'd been holding out for. I know I should have probably waited for the Kingdom Ultra Magnus,
Nope.
but no, you don't think so? Why don't you think so, Brad?
I've seen video reviews for it. It's not great.
Oh, great. Okay.
It's
the
a
same-
very,
it's the same.
very, very slight remold of the Siege Magnus.
Right, but the cab is based on Earthrise Prime, though, right?
No,
I think the cab is based on an Earth truck mode, but not Earthrise Prime, I believe.
it's
Oh, I thought it
still
was-
no, it's still the War for Sight. It's still the Siege Magnus. It just has an Earth mode looking chest.
Ah, and no battle damage, obviously. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this one, the Siege Ultra Magnus, looks amazing. And similar to what I expect the Grimlock leader to be, this guy is also a big unit. And the transformation is just a lot of fun. Like just removing the blue and red parts from his body to see the old white Optimus underneath. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time transforming this guy today. Probably a little bit too much time, I would say. But yeah, definitely a great acquisition. And I got him from the Pop Culture guys in Victoria for about $90. So I kind of considered that maybe a little too high, but actually, if it had come out on the shelves, I wasn't around when it was doing that, I guess. But it would have been around that price, wouldn't it?
It was
Around
indeed.
$90.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely a really good acquisition for me.
Oh, fantastic. I only have one acquisition to talk about this week, and it is not open yet, but it is this lovely lady. And if I hold it there, I can't see the microphone anymore. Masterpiece RC. She's come express from Singapore via My Primus, and I haven't opened her yet. In fact, I think I've got a couple of Masterpiece figures I haven't opened yet under my desk. So, under the desk she goes, and
You've got a full weekend of opening Masterpiece toys.
oh mate, those toys have been sitting under my desk for weeks,
Yeah.
months. Like, I don't think I'll be getting to them anytime soon.
That
But,
packaging looks amazing, though, Jace. On that RC,
Yeah.
I love the boxes for Masterpiece. They do such a great job.
Well, so this one's especially striking because RC's color scheme is especially striking, being pink and white. Put that
Yes.
against the black color scheme of the Masterpiece box, and like you do have something that'll catch your eyes.
Yes, and she'll go on the shelf with the other Masterpieces behind your head there. We can see on the left of the screen.
Yes. Now, I gotta say, I'm not entirely sure that she'll stay in the collection because
here we go.
as my collection moves and changes, and I get rid of some things, I no longer need to actually have a complete Masterpiece collection. So if I don't like her, I'm going to replace it with the MMC Azalea, which a lot of people are very up on as their Masterpiece RC. So. We'll see what we think. I've heard from people who love her, and I've heard from people who hate her. So we'll see what we end up.
Surprised mentioning changing your collections, as I'm sure we all do it, but I saw on Twitter you got rid of RED. Is that true?
I did. I unpacked. I unpacked the Transformers Red. I'll put us back in the 3-up. I unpacked my Transformers Red Optimus Prime the other day, and I put a photograph of him. I took a photograph of him next to the Earthrise Prime just to sort of see what the differences were. And I gotta say, Earthrise Prime was easier to pose, and the red one, you sort of like you move the limbs around because it's all it's all sort of like it's plastic. I don't know what the specific material is, but it's got some joints that you move so you can pose. The ankle tilts work better on Earthrise, and I just found I didn't really appreciate the RAD figure. In order to get him to hold his gun, I had to like take the hand out and replace it with a different hand and bend the fingers of that hand around the gun, and it's just I disliked it. But I was able to sell it quite quickly, so hopefully that will find a hopefully the Red Line will find a happy home with other people, but they're not for me. So
that's a very different experience. Sorry,
yeah,
Brett.
Sounds weird that a line that's sort of made to be posed just doesn't really seem very posable.
I think I'm somewhat spoiled by the fact that like I understand how to accomplish certain poses with modern Transformers, right? You turn the leg here, you bend that, then you put that there, and you move the heel until like they're standing in the combat pose and stuff. And you just can't do that with Red. Like they're not really built to have the range of motion that the retail figures are.
So they are pretty much just pricier action masters.
Well, they always were, but not that makes them a bad thing. But yeah, just didn't really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's funny because I have a slightly different experience with because I've got Optimus Red and Megatron as well, and I really enjoyed removing and swapping hands and with the energy mace and that sort of stuff, and the old Megatron's like ball and chain, all that kind of stuff. I actually really enjoyed that. I do accept that there is the sort of limited posability compared to your Earthrise figures and stuff, but I kind of look at them as more like a Marvel Legends type figure with a little less articulation.
So look, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up that photo on the screen share, right? So that's RED Prime versus Earthrise, right?
Yep.
Earthrise's feet are flat on the table. Red's are not. Earthrise doesn't have the awkward cut in the middle of his leg to rotate things around, and I don't know what's going on with the arms and the articulation of the arms. Like it's just there's all this sort of like weird swirling in the plastic, and I ultimately also found that I think Red's colour is just a little bit too muted for me.
Is the Autobot insignia on Red, is that sculpted or is that a sticker as well? It looks sculpted from here.
It is raised slightly, yeah.
Raised, okay.
Yeah. It's cut into the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like I was really excited to get this figure and have a look at him, but ultimately just could not muster the enthusiasm for him.
Well, you dodged a bullet. Sorry, go.
You can chalk it up to experience.
Yeah,
that's about it, really.
That's true. I was going to say at least you've dodged the forthcoming Bumblebee version of RED and the Coronation Starscream ones, which both look atrocious in my view.
I was actually had I stayed with the line, I would have been looking forward to those ones, but
no,
just
okay,
not into them now. So anyway, that's it for acquisitions, and so we've covered one in and one out this week. There's a little bit of club news. The club held nominations and elections very, very late. We are meant to do them on. We're meant to do elections and form the club committee around the border of the financial year. We're very late this year. Simon and Chris and myself have been working out how to run the club and running some fundraisers to get some money in the bank. And now that we've done that, we've decided that it's time we return back to the root of the club's constitution. So we asked people to nominate for positions on the club committee board, and we held elections for a couple of those positions. And so yeah, we announced the new club committee the other day. If you are a member of the club, you will have received an email about that. The new committee is that Simon Chambers is TCCA president. Chris Steffo, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, is vice president. I myself am secretary, and I'm also holding the role of treasurer as well, because secretary and treasurer tend to go hand in hand in a lot of clubs these days. And we have 3 state representatives around the country. We have Jason Reddit in Queensland, and we have Ben Turner in Western Australia. It's really nice to see a state rep from WA. The WA tend to keep to their own group, don't they, Bradley?
I don't even keep to that group.
Fair enough. It's like reading a run sheet. But we're always happy to have the WA contingent come in and join us in the group. And Jonathan Hawkins is our Victorian state representative. If you want to run any events or attend anything and would like to represent the club at an event, you don't need to be a state representative to do so. If there's a supernova coming to town, which there's probably not at the moment because COVID, but if there's a little meetup or there's a little convention, so Sydney has Collectomania fairs and things like that. They're starting up again. So if you wanted to attend something like that and represent TCCA, give us a yell and have a chat, and we can probably send over some resources, some pamphlets, and some flyers, and help to pay for the cost of getting the table and things like that. So
I was gonna say, speaking of conventions, did we skip a convention story tonight?
Oh, we did.
We did, actually. Yes, you're right. Because I ran past it. It's basically, I can do this one in 30 seconds. You ready? Toy Fair has been cancelled and is going to an online event, just like every other event in the past year. So Toy Fair,
less than 30 seconds.
it is. I'll flesh it out. It is a little bit of a shame because Toy Fair has been where we've seen some reveals of figures in the past. So if you guys remember the fat man standing in front of Combiner Wars Devastator, he was there for quite some time, and so like we have seen some reveals of characters at Toy Fair before, so that won't be happening this year. But also Toy Fair was delayed till later in the year anyway, so that may not have happened. So Toy Fair will be going online. Don't know whether or not there'll be Hasbro reveals as a part of Toy Fair. What I actually expect is probably going to happen is that Hasbro is probably going to have some Fan First Friday events to launch some Transformers figures soon, instead of expecting them to happen at trade shows. So anyway, that's that.
I have been liking the Fan First Fridays because you don't have to wait for a convention. They're more, I don't know, regular. I don't know. But,
that's right.
Yeah.
They were pretty regular last year. So in general, what ends up happening, right, is that the structure for the lines for the years seems to be that they will sort of do wave 1 and 2 should be in the first half of the year. That didn't happen last year because of COVID. And then all the exclusives and the Gen Selects, they seem to come out in the second half of the year. So I'm not expecting to see a lot of Gen Selects in the next little while. So I think Fans First Fridays will be Kingdom reveals and launches for the next little while. We'll see.
Had you guys ever been to the real Toy Fair in the flesh?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Do you mean the one in Melbourne as well?
Yeah, sorry, the one in Melbourne.
Yeah. No, because it's actually only for people in the industry. However, Ozformers often hosts a meetup opposite at a cafe at Crown. So,
right.
I know a few people who've gone to those, but I'm not in Melbourne, so yeah, I haven't been.
Yeah, I've never been myself, but I've always wondered what it's like, what the experience is. Obviously, being if you were in the industry, do you kind of just look at it as a work day? It kind of is. There's definitely. So the thing is that like it's meant to be like Fight Club, and you go into the thing, and you're not meant to take photos. You're not meant to really tell people what you've seen, because like you're seeing supposedly upcoming stuff, but like when you've seen product leaks from it, it's just like, yeah, we already saw that. Yeah. Like it's like they may as well just get Tonton to host Toy Fair, but yeah. He'll pay you for it though.
No, he probably won't. Anywho, that is it. That's it for the show. We're just about to hit the 1 hour 30 minute mark. So I
Sorry,
think
Brad.
that's a good place to draw a line under it. So thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching along with the live record, and a few people have been, thank you everyone who's been leaving comments for us on Facebook and on YouTube. You can find out more about these stories. There'll be links to them all in the show notes posted to the Transformers Weekly Facebook page and the Podbean site. If you'd like to get in touch, we love listener feedback, as you can tell by the number of times we've put comments up on the screen tonight. You can get in touch with us. Our official website is transformersweekly.podbean.com, and we are, of course, all in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. You can subscribe to the podcast through your podcatcher of choice and distinction. And please don't forget that we are actually a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia. It's a registered club in Victoria, run by volunteers that donate their time and money to make the club and life in Australia in general better for all of us. It's also worth noting that the club is donating 10% of its revenue to the Royal Children's Hospital Foundation this year. So when we run a raffle, or when we run a giveaway, and membership revenue and things like that, they all go to benefit the foundation. So please do give generously and get involved with those things. You can find out more about membership and more information about the club at transformerscca.com. Bradley, we have a Twitch link for you that has changed.
Yes, it's now twitch.tv/ScroovyGuyGaming. I haven't actually streamed for a while because I haven't been feeling up to it, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be back to streaming, and hope to see you there. If you are on Twitch, I do enjoy talking about Transformers and such, and jumping over and have a bit of a chat.
Fantastic. Tony, do you have anything you'd like to promote?
Nothing at all, other than the fact that I will be going back to the Hayden Orpheum and will be protesting and being a Karen with the manager to ask them to get the Transformers movie back on again as a bit of a weekly thing.
You can probably just email them.
Yeah, don't tell me that. I'll flood them.
Fair enough. All right, that is it from us. We'll be back with Transformers news, and we might actually be able to do this on a regular basis next week. Thanks for listening, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Oh,
he literally just dropped off.
we're still live, Jason. Jason!